Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Stock Update. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell, so you never miss any of our uploads and also enter our giveaway. But before that, alert, this is not a financial advice video. So far this year we have seen Tesla's stock price skyrocket, given it was at such lows, and so oversold. But as far as actual progress is concerned, we are still not expecting anything major this year in the way of massive ramping. Back in 2021 we hoped last year was going to be spectacular, with the new factories coming online, revolutionary new production processes, and Tesla's state-of-the-art 4680 cells. Yet here we are now in 2023 and still waiting, and being told that the 4680 seconds will not ramp up until next year now. Now for some time I have been saying that 2025 would be the year for Tesla, so much so you saw how I would continually buy leaps with expiry dates for 2025, as that seemed about a long enough time for Tesla to really get things sorted. It also allowed enough time for a potential recession perhaps in 2023 or 2024, and to have hopefully somewhat recovered, hence why I bought so many leaps for that year. Now Elon has given us targets for the 4680 ramps continually but seems to not hit them. But the thing is, the science has all been proven, and as Elon says, physics is the law. Everything else is opinion. We know it is physically possible to make the 4680 cells, and the dry battery electrode process even for the cathode. It just comes down to the engineering now. I mean, we even have solid-state batteries using graphene that can be created in a lab, in small quantities. From there it's all about scaling. This might be similar to Henry Ford when he wanted to invent the V8 engine. His engineers told him it wasn't possible, but instructed them to keep trying, and after 1 year, they came back to him and said, no, it's still not possible. Yet after another year or so of trying, they actually achieved it. Steve Jobs used to do something similar with his engineers, and it was even known as his reality distortion field. Despite it not being what I wanted, not being possible so to speak, Jobs would actually convince the engineers it was possible, and lo and behold, they would miraculously achieve it. Elon Musk is clearly aware of these motivational techniques and perhaps trying it with his engineers too, and eventually it will be achieved. It is physically possible. Tesla have literally the best engineers in the world specialized in this field working on the issues, and basically have as much money and resources as required in order to solve it. Anyway, we are now being told this will all be ramping up in 2024, implying perhaps by 2025 they are pretty much ramped up and have a decent supply. This inevitably means that production at the new factories will finally ramp up, most likely in 2024 during the 4680 ramp. But then there should be sufficient cell supply to see vehicle production at around 500,000 a year from each of those factories, taking global Model Y supply to well over 2 million vehicles a year. In 2024 we should also hit volume production for the Cybertruck. This car has so much demand, and hopefully built so efficiently, that it should be highly profitable, and by 2025 might be at a reasonable quantity. I don't believe any figure has ever been given as to the total capacity of the Cybertruck production line. I can't even recall anyone ever asking. If I had to guess, it might be around 500,000 a year, given its potentially relatively simple lines, which should facilitate production, and the fact there is no paint shop required. I think it may take some time to hit that level of production. But if we really do see volume production in 2024, then perhaps 350,000 Cybertrucks might be a possibility for 2025. That is going to be a decent enough quantity to prove to the market Tesla will truly succeed with the Cybertruck. However, if demand for an F-150 is anything to buy, and how Teslas tend to be the most popular model in their class, then you can be forgiven for assuming demand could be as high as 1 million a year. But I think a lot of assumption would be based on the target market of a pickup truck, which could be a consumer who is less interested in electric vehicles and more of a petrol head. Having said that, the Cybertruck is certainly appealing to many other consumers who never before considered a pickup truck. At 500,000 units a year, they would likely need 65 GWh a year depending on the battery sizes, which would probably leave enough for a similar quantity of Model Ys from the factory too. I would hope that the Giga Nevada extension may very well start sometime this year. And sure, it is massive expansion, but look how quickly Tesla were able to get Giga Texas up. If they are able to start construction in the first half of this year, then perhaps we could see the semi-truck production line running in 2025. Again, this is going to be a massive boost for the company. Then we also have the new factory that we have been anticipating since the mention of it back in the shareholders meeting. It sounds fairly likely now that his is going to be Mexico, and hopefully confirmed any day, or possibly on Investor Day. Lots of things to potentially be mentioned at that event, and will likely give more direction as to how 2025 will eventuate. I would hope that we break ground on that factory sometime this year, so it's possible we may even be seeing vehicles come off the line in Mexico sometime in 2025. And possibly a brand new model from Tesla, seeing will be believing. Likely Gen 3 platform, which should hopefully be much faster production than the Model Y, which means possibly it may even ramp up faster than we saw the Model Y ramp in the past. And there could actually be a reasonable amount of vehicles produced from that factory in 2025, especially if it is a more simple compact version. On the other hand, these are advanced new production techniques, which may require a lot of testing and refining first. But if we have over 2 million Model Ys in production, probably around 600,000 Model 3 seconds, a few 100,000 Cybertrucks, and possibly some semi-trucks and new of the new model, then look, we must be somewhere between 3 and 3.5 million vehicles produced for 2025. Sounds too good to be true. Well, if we do just 1.8 million this year, then 50% growth for 2024 is 2.7 million, and 50% growth after that takes us to 4 million. Therefore, as good as over 3 million sounds, it would still be well under the 50% growth target, so doesn't sound too unbelievable. When we start getting into the multiples of millions of cars, Tesla's profit starts to get ridiculous, and the OPEX per vehicle starts to really reduce, which means even if Tesla lower prices and the gross margin reduces, the fact they have such large quantities of production means operating margin will likely increase. Then we also have advances in FSD, 2 or so more years of improvements in FSD, which in theory the advances should really be exponential, as Tesla collect more data. And technology improves. I mean, look at the advances we are seeing in AI already, and we are talking about 2 or so more years. Compare FSD with just 2 years ago to how it is now, for example. And we have the neural net and hardware for, in other words, vastly improved software and hardware. I know the whole narrative of investing in Tesla is to hang in there until 2030, but it does make it easier holding when you see Tesla level up along the way, and see step changes in production and technology. 2025 is really going to lay the next foundation of growth for the company to level up to the size the Elon tells us. It can be hard keeping your conviction when not as much is happening, but seeing progress like this helps your confidence to hold the stock for another 5 years or so. Meanwhile, as for the competition, perhaps Legacy may have finally launched some of their EVs, which have honestly not even caught up to where the Model S was perhaps almost 10 years ago now. While perhaps the energy density of the cells are a little bit better, but they are not smart cars, and can't come close to the capabilities of self-driving. Tesla will be so much further ahead on so many levels when they Gen 3 is in production. I just can't wait to hear more about it. Not to mention most major legacy autos aren't even launching their electric models until 2024 or even 2025. And for good reason, their battery factories are still in development. There simply aren't enough cells for them to go around. Until then, all they can do is talk a big game and advertise as if they are up there with Tesla, with specifications that are barely where the Model 3 was 6 years ago. Friends, that's all we have for you today. What is your opinion about today's video? Get involved and let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.